My name is Dr. Gary Myers. I am a professor at Sociology Department here at CWU. I have initiated a leadership class for sociology, and it is unique in that it incorporates digital avatars for interactions between students, and through these anonymous interactions, they actually focus on leadership development. So the platform that is used is a 2D platform, and what makes it a virtual platform is that social interactions initiate social emotions, so people begin to feel as though they're having actual interactions with people outside of the environment. When they do interact with each other and they do experience these emotions, they actually develop authentic bonds with one another. And the anonymity associated with it, so they're with their avatars, they don't actually get to see what one another looks like. Absolutely no voice chat, only text messages. It is complete anonymity. You don't hear the individual, you don't see what the individual looks like. Because it's in a classroom, we space everyone approximately 2 seats apart, so they cannot see what's on one another's screens. As a result, they're actually introduced to the content of one another's characters before they know anything physically or ideologically about one another. When we think about leadership, we tend to think about a very specific type of individual, and that individual normally has traits that are associated with extrovert personality. We even develop programs that accommodate for this type of individual, and what that ends up doing is eliminating options for individuals that don't consider themselves to be extrovert. With this approach, a lot of individuals that consider themselves shy and have high social anxiety are able to not only work in situations in which they're leading and develop the techniques to improve their leadership skills, but they're also able to make connections where they don't have to be as concerned about how people are evaluating them. Imagine a video game. The video game itself has a character which you maneuver through a dimensional world and you achieve objectives. The controls are very basic. Basically, you do not have to have any bit of gaming experience to perform well in this. You customize the character to look as outrageously fantastic as you want to. The further away from how people actually look, the better. Elf races, cat people race, it makes it easier for people to drop a lot of their insecurities when they are interacting with one another. The individuals choose specialties for their digital avatars. I think there's only 6 specialties that they can choose from. And we have an exercise where everybody in the exact same specialty tries to complete that task. And they can't do it. The only way that it can be completed is if you get a mix of those different types of specialties. It's easier to create challenges for them to achieve, but more importantly, working with one another to achieve those objectives. For the class, we actually do it in a lab. You have to download and install this. There is a learning curve initially. A lot of the students that participate are not used to this type of interaction. And this is good because they're learning together, which gives opportunities for each one of them to lean on one another. Students just jumped into the roles of helping one another. So it's another opportunity for them to practice their leadership. I'm able to provide lectures in between online interactions, so it supplements what they're experiencing. They're able to participate and apply what they learned from that lecture. We will discuss communication, and then as soon as that lecture is over, they immediately jump into a communication development scenario in which they have to complete a quest in which communication is the only thing that's going to allow them to complete it. One of the early quests is you have to guide an individual from one city to the other. And it seems very basic in principle, but without fail, the very first time students are asked to do this, they find out how complicated it is because you can't just do it by yourself. You have to find ways to communicate and explain how to guide your team from point A to point B. And that takes a lot of preparation. It takes a lot of support on your teammates' end. And so by the end of the quarter, they have to take on a monster that requires between 18 and 25 members to work together to defeat it. Once they recognize that they have made connections, significant connections, in a way that they haven't done before, what we end up doing is having a celebration at the end of the quarter. And students got to meet each other for the first time. And this includes some very, very extreme introverts. Even they were motivated enough to come out and meet everybody. First thing they needed to find out was, well, which character were you? And as soon as that happened, the stories, the experience, everything just came out. They just had no way of not talking after that.